Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whoever and wherever you are. This is Lee, and we're working on speech anxiety, and we're talking with Sahil right now. Say hello, Sahil.
Hello?
And Sahil is from New Jersey, and I always mess up the pronunciation. Sahil got a haircut recently, I think. Didn't you?
Uh,
No?
a few, I want to say 2 weeks ago,
Oh,
maybe?
really? Okay.
Yeah,
Well, you cut it on the short side then. You just,
a bit, yeah.
yeah. Are you saving money? You just don't like to deal with it.
Mainly I just don't want to deal with it because at school it's hard to find. So when I'm home, I just cut it short and then wait until the next time I'm back.
Okay. All right. So Sahil's story, why don't you tell us? I know that you came to us originally. It was a while ago when we haven't talked every week, far from it, but
Yeah,
we started talking around a year ago, and
yeah. So,
so you had, according to my notes, you started stuttering at age 10, and you stuttered. Um, well, it only says to around a third of your words. Do you think that's true, or do you think it was more than that?
initially, I would say a third. That
Okay,
sounds
all
about right.
right. And so what have you done in the past year, and what have the results been?
So in the past year, I've just been doing a lot more. I've just been doing auto suggestions and just mind training. Also, just focusing on the crutches and just basically, I guess, how do I say it? Just not really messing up on as many words as I used to.
And before you started the program,
Hmm.
would you say that I think you've said before that your stuttering was basically obvious to most everyone who knew you?
Yeah.
And then I asked you a session or two ago
Hmm.
if anyone, since you started the school year, the people whom you met for the first time this year, would any of those people, in your opinion, think you were a stutterer?
I don't think so now.
No, good. And that's I think that is that's a huge achievement, isn't it,
Hmm.
Sahil? And you got to be very happy about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, so that's we it's very important that
Hmm.
we give ourselves credit for the good stuff that's going on, and
Yeah.
it's very important that we count our blessings regularly and
Hmm.
and realize that life is challenging for everyone. I don't care,
Yeah.
rich, famous, and beautiful. It doesn't matter. Life is a challenge for everybody,
Yeah.
and so and stutterers have um, they may not have the worst problem around, but it's certainly one that's noticeable, and it can be very humiliating, and it can have a terrible effect on our lives. And at this point, um, you're not suffering any form of humiliations because of your speech,
Hmm.
and so that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
So then the next question is, um, even though that's true, I would still ask, when can you remember your last bad incident where you appeared clearly to be speech disabled? When do you think that was?
My last bad incident would have been all right. So in the past week, there was there was not one, so that's good. In the week before, I believe it was when I was speaking in class. I forget what I was saying, but I'm pretty sure it was then.
Okay, last bad was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Okay, and tell us about that bad incident. What happened?
I'll be honest, I don't really remember it all that well,
Good.
but I
That's
do
fine.
know that I did mess up. I forgot, I don't know like on which like word, but I
Were
was
you
like
giving
pretty
a
obvious.
presentation, or were you asking a question, or did they call on you, or what?
I was presenting.
You were presenting,
Yeah.
and you got hung up on a word.
Yeah. Oh, I remember the word. It was Kenya.
Kenya.
Yeah, like the country. Yep.
hmm Um, and when you got hung up on it, was
Mhm.
it a series of repeats, or or was it Kenya? Was it forced, or was it a long silence, or what was it?
It was like Kenya, like that.
Okay, and I assume it was considerably longer than that in class.
Uh, a bit longer. Yeah.
Yeah, because what you just did wouldn't rise to the level of a bad incident.
Okay.
Again, you can't. You're not perfect, and no one you know is.
Mhm.
And everyone messes up their speech. I don't care who they are. The best speakers in the world mess up their speech.
Yeah.
And you can't. Part of beating it is stopping um, flagellating yourself, whipping yourself
Okay.
over things that are normal in the eyes of most people.
Mhm.
They can lose their train of thought and get hung up on a word. It just whatever. There can be a million reasons why.
Mhm.
So um, I want to make sure that that was bad because
Okay.
I don't want you to. I don't want you to take a rap or give yourself a rap
Yeah.
that you don't deserve. Are you sure?
It's been a while. I'm pretty sure it was a pretty bad incident
Okay. All
because
right. So I'm gonna.
besides
Well,
that, it was also like a kind of like a choppy speech throughout. So
okay.
overall, it wasn't a great
All right.
incident. Just
And
all things.
what could when you were giving this presentation,
Yeah.
if you had to do it again tomorrow on the same subject in a different class, different people sitting there,
Hmm.
um, what would you do differently to avoid the problem?
I would just have a more, I guess have like a better like game plan and just stick to that more.
What would the game plan be?
It would be just to stop more, and if I and so on the word like Kenya, I could do Kenya and then just get it out
Well,
like
you'd
that.
need to hold it into Kenya. Kenya. You'd have to swallow the K a little bit. Kenya.
Kenya.
No.
No.
Kenya.
Kenya.
Yeah, you can't, hard sounds like K's and C's you have to
Hmm.
drop if you
Okay.
use that crutch, and
Yeah.
that's fine to use.
Hmm.
Um, but you could also do after, you could go Kenya. Did you hear me go K? I said
Yeah.
Kenya. Say that.
Yep. Okay, Kenya.
Sing Singapore,
Sing Singapore.
London,
La London.
and America,
America.
Italy,
Italy.
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia.
It's easy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, um, Sahil.
Hmm.
When you emit a sound, or or when you use say any other word, well, so, and, or K, or sing, or lun. When you say anything else,
Hmm.
it breaks the hold on that word. Isn't
Okay.
that nice?
It is. Yeah.
It'll do it every time. It'll never fail you. So, but you could have use a sound. It's harder with a K sound. But if you mess up Enya and if you don't like the way it sounds, Enya, spell it Enya, Kenya, Kenya. Look, that's not a name that's common in everybody's mind. Not everybody is thinking about Kenya, I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you spelled it, you know, Nigeria, Nigeria, you know,
Hmm.
so what? No one would
Yeah.
ever think a thing about it. So that's crutch two. That's another way to do it. I like the okay, Kenya though. That's easy.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
can say any part of the word, any part of Kenya. Yeah,
Hmm.
Kenya and Kenya. I can use the K. I can use the N. I can use the ya. Doesn't
Hmm.
matter what I use.
Okay.
Why? Because I'm breaking the hold. The minute I say it,
Hmm.
I'm free.
Yeah. Let's go.
Now, crutch number eight. What could you have
Yep.
done with crutch number eight on Kenya?
Um, Crutch is like, um, so for that I could have just like modulated.
Yeah, high, low, low, high.
Yeah.
What could you have done?
I could have, I could have done something like Kenya or like Kenya like that.
Yeah, but you don't come out of you did the Kenya.
Okay.
Okay, you didn't go high enough. Kenya,
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 Singapore,
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 London,
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 metaphysics,
metaphysics,
metaphysics.
metaphysics.
Every time it works. But if you
Yeah.
only come out of your speech zone a little bit, it won't work.
All right.
You got to come way out.
Okay.
Metaphysics, metaphysics. And you said, well, that sounds too crazy. No, it beats stuttering. That's what it
Yeah.
does. And it sounds like you're just emphasizing a word. And that's fine.
Yeah.
Nobody cares, mate.
Okay.
Nobody's making a note.
Hmm.
Nobody's going to remember. They're thinking about lunch or the girl's legs in front of them or something. They're not thinking about what you're thinking about. They're somewhere else. So, um, but you needed a speech plan in class when you're giving a presentation. I'm
Yeah.
I'm not. What did you? You should have had a plan. And what should your plan been?
No, so I did have a plan. So just like I want to say halfway through, it just like dropped off.
But didn't you have it written down and on your pad or on your pad in front of you? Weren't you looking at it?
I had to like stand up like in front of the class.
Well, I mean, is this a presentation that you had to make without any preparation? They just called on you and said, "Sahil, you tell us about Kenya or something." Is that
No, I did have like some like prep for it, but
okay? So when you were giving the presentation, did you have any
yeah,
notes in your hand?
no, you couldn't
You,
use a
you
note
can't
card.
use notes.
No.
Okay, well then, all right. So you gotta have it, um, but still in your mind that
Yeah.
okay, you gotta have at least. You tell me. Um, I know that stops is critical. What else? What else should you have had? And one thing, two things, I don't know. You tell
Yeah.
me. What should you have been thinking that would have
Mhm.
caused you not to have a problem with Kenya or any other words?
So it would be linking, stopping, and extreme pronunciation.
Okay. So, all right. So, and so, all right. So it's pronunciation, link, and stop. And you should practice these individually
Okay.
to the point that you're really good at doing them.
Hmm.
And then you do pronunciation, practice it, and then
Yep.
you practice linking your words together, and then you practice stopping. And look, you had to feel quite a bit of pressure
Yeah.
um, to have a problem
Mhm.
because you're not having any problems with me
Yeah.
that are perceptible as stuttering.
Mhm.
Whatever your problems are, they're not perceptible as stuttering to me.
Okay.
So is when you talk to me pretty much the way you talk to people at school?
Yeah, I think like I would say at this point like 98% of the time I'm just talking like this, I'd say.
Good, good. And remember, the softer you talk as a general principle, the
Yeah.
easier it is to talk.
Mhm.
And the more you stop, the easier it is to talk.
Yeah.
Now, but I think, you don't know your game plan well enough, obviously, because you didn't use it. As you admitted to me a minute ago, you fell off the plan.
Yeah.
Well, that's you can't do that.
Right.
You're in charge here. You're
Mhm.
the guy. All I can do is suggest what I would do in your shoes. You
Yeah.
got to do it. You're playing shortstop. The ball's hit to you. You got to field it and throw the guy out.
Okay.
so, so the thing is, what can we do? What can you do to learn your pressure speech plan well enough to use it and not fall off the plan in the middle of the presentation?
I think
What can we
just
do?
I think just maybe like putting myself in more situations like that so that I can then just practice staying on the plan and not then falling off. So whatever that is, just
I
maybe like
agree. I agree. It's the more you can put yourself in pressure situations,
mhm.
preferably in short increments of time,
Okay.
you know, 30 seconds, a minute, or whatever, 2 minutes,
Mhm.
and build up.
Okay.
Do you find when you're at school,
Mhm.
as a general rule,
Yeah.
you have to be candid with me because otherwise I never
Yeah.
know where you are. I can't really
Mhm.
help you. Um, when you're talking alone to one student,
Yeah.
are you feeling any pressure?
No.
Okay. If you're talking to two students, are you feeling any?
No. So I've actually like I guess like I considered this before. I think it's around like 8 or so where I get to feel a bit of
Okay. All
pressure,
right.
but
All right. What you need to do is look for situations at school where you can go up to groups of 5 to 10
yeah.
and talk a little bit more.
Okay.
On any excuse, go up and ask them when's lunch or did they, anything, just to say anything. And you don't need to stand there and carry on a long conversation, but just say a few words, ask a question, tell
Mhm.
somebody hello, wish them well, whatever.
Okay.
Um, but the more you can do this,
Mhm.
and the more you can do it, the easier it's going to become. And
Yeah.
until the size of the group isn't going to matter. I mean, you know in your brain that the listener has no bearing on your speech.
Yeah.
Zero. And there's no real reason why you can't love to speak in any venue and you're going to do it. But
Yeah.
first of all, we got to eliminate these little problems so that we don't get choppy. And the more pressure you feel, the less you say,
Okay.
the more you stop. And the more you focus on pronunciation or passion, something like that.
Okay.
I think you picked pronunciation, but you didn't stay with the program. You pulled away. Um, should we substitute passion for pronunciation? Would that be better for you?
Maybe, yeah. I think so. It's worked before.
All right, let's do that.
All right.
Let's substitute passion. I know that if you can add if you can add smiling to the list, I know it'll help.
Hmm.
Um, but once again, I mean, I may have mentioned one of my students is a lawyer, a 41-year-old lawyer from Scotland,
Yep.
and he practices these methods one at a time for like a whole week.
Wow.
He'll practice pronunciation for a week and smiling for a week and being passionate for a week and linking his words together for a week. And then he combines them.
Okay.
That's how he does. I don't know what works for you, but you're not using this plan when the heat is on. So you're giving up, you're trying to play shortstop without the glove.
Hmm.
It's just too much. So you've got to work on these, you got to work on this system harder yourself.
Okay.
Uh, how much are you able to read aloud a day now?
I would say around half an hour to like
Uh huh.
45 minutes. I think
Uh huh.
closer now
And
to 45.
when you do your homework, um, how much of it is just reading?
Not a lot, really, but for
Oh,
emails, that's what I do read aloud.
okay. All right. And your mind training, when you doing it? When you doing it?
Uh, Before I wake up and before I sleep.
Okay, so
Sorry, I'm
um,
sorry. After I after I wake up, before I sleep.
when you wake up and when?
Sorry. So right after I wake up and before I go to sleep.
Okay, okay. Uh, I think we're down to the short strokes here in terms of focusing in on closing the gap on this problem. Again, there is no, in my opinion, partial
Mm.
cure to this problem. As long as you're thinking words and struggling with words at all, you got a problem.
Yeah.
And first base is you've been a month without a bad incident. Fine, you know, um, that's not the end. Then you got to get
Yeah.
to second base, which is you got to love to speak everywhere. That's a whole other issue. And it's much harder to stop stuttering than it is to learn to love to speak. But you can stop stuttering faster in most cases than you learn to love to speak. That may not be
Yeah.
true with you because we've taken quite a while. Your
Yeah.
stuttering has been very resistant for the percentage of stuttering that you have. It's been very resistant. And I personally think that it was probably a higher percentage than you think
Maybe.
with the chop, you know.
Hmm.
But I think even in my earlier sessions with you, it was pretty heavy then. Um, I mean, it's not like you're everybody's stuttering is different,
Yeah.
and your stuttering was not at a level that you could not communicate. You
Hmm.
could communicate,
Yeah.
but you did it in such a halting of struggling fashion that it was humiliating to you and embarrassing to the listener. You hated it, they hated it, everybody hated it.
Yeah.
Um, and that you no longer have that problem. And that's a huge accomplishment. Bravo.
Hmm.
Go to the head of the class. You deserve to pat yourself on the back. Do it. It'll help. But we've got to eliminate all the bad incidents.
Yeah.
We can't allow ourselves to appear speech disabled ever.
Yeah.
We can make
Yeah.
mistakes, make them, force some word. That's okay. But that's not being speech disabled.
Yeah.
It's not enough to be disabled. You
Okay.
forget minor mistakes and know that if you really work on what we got here, passion, link, stop, smile, you're gonna be, again, not only are you not going to be disabled, you're going to rise above your group as a
Yeah.
speaker. And you
Hmm.
should not quit until you do. And you
Yes.
should you should get to second base. You should love to speak in class and to groups
Hmm.
over 5. Those are your specialties. You love those groups. There's no reason why you can't. No reason. You're not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with you. You got a bad habit. So what? You're going to unlearn it, and you are. So fine. We just want to do it faster. That's all.
Hmm.
We're in a hurry
Yep.
because we want to get to third base too. We want to attack all our other problems.
Yeah.
Third base, I mean, it's a lifetime commitment to addressing your negative thoughts
Hmm.
and attacking them on a consistent basis every day with mind training.
Yeah.
If you don't, they will be there and they will grow and they will boss you around and they will mess up, they will lower the quality of your life.
Hmm.
You can absolutely elevate the quality of your life. And when you do, then you're going to be able to say stuttering was a blessing.
Okay.
And that's home plate.
Hmm.
We're going to get there. But you got to be a better speech cop. You got to be more determined and you got to work more. You got to push. You got to go to the gym and curl more. That is, go to these groups, raise your hand more in class, do
Yeah.
more. Even you don't have to do much, just a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, and then a little bit becomes a little more, becomes a little more, becomes a little more, becomes a little more, until it just doesn't matter.
Hmm.
And it gets to be fun.
Yeah.
If you can really think passion and
Hmm.
pronunciation, I mean, smiling. The thing about smiling is it does something to you
Yeah.
inside. It makes you feel better. And it makes other people feel better about you, no matter what else you do. If you're smiling when you do it, even if you're making mistakes,
Hmm.
it's better for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, so, okay. So you've got to practice these individual elements
Yes.
of your speech plan and then
Hmm.
practice them jointly and
Yep.
then push yourself to say a few words in class and to groups as often as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And again, you got to be working on this. Even when you don't need it, you should be using it even now when you're
Yeah.
talking to me or your family. At this point, what do you think your family thinks about your speech?
They think it's, I would say, basically all the way there.
I'm so happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear that. But you and I know that it isn't, don't we?
Yeah, it's not there yet, but
And so, I mean, we're on the case until you love
hmm.
to speak everywhere and you're working on the next stuff and you're attacking the collateral issues. Look,
Yeah.
everybody has inferiority complexes, and stutterers have them extra because of their speech.
Yeah.
So when you get over that, you can just feel so much better about yourself.
Hmm.
And I'm sure you already do. But
Yes.
how many minutes per average hour do you say you think about your speech problem or your ex speech problem?
Not really ever. Maybe like
Good,
1 minute.
good, good. Um, and how many words are you um, maneuvering around in most conversations?
Maybe I want to say a few per minute, but not a lot.
What would you estimate as a percentage?
Um, Maybe like I would say, hmm, maybe like 5%. Less than
5%?
that, probably. Yeah, less than five.
Okay. Those are good answers. I'm happy with those answers. But I know that those answers change when you're doing a presentation in class
Mhm.
or you go up to a group of 20
Yeah.
people.
So in that case, then the words that I maneuver around to go up to like probably say 20%.
Yeah, but what we need to do is when you're going into those situations, you got to be going into them. I love to speak in class or I love to speak to groups. I mean, you're saying that
Mm-hmm.
because the listeners don't change anything
Yeah.
in your ability. They don't. But if you haven't practiced focusing on this stuff, you're not going to do it. And once you really focus on it and you really do it,
Yep.
as I've said to you many times,
Yeah.
once you can do it,
You're
you
done.
won't need to do it. That's the joke. That's the joke. I mean, once you learn how to use the glove at short, ironically, you won't need the glove anymore.
Yeah.
So that's the way it works. It's
Yeah.
crazy, but you got in this spot, so did I. So
Yeah.
you and I understand the problem, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But I truly love to speak, Sahil, and I want you to love it just the way I do.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean I don't have a threat once in a while. I still do. I have no fear,
Yeah.
but I do have a threat once in a while. It's a joke.
Yeah.
Give me the mic! That's what I say, and that's what I want you to say. I want you to love to go up in front of the whole student body. You don't care.
Mm-hmm.
You'll become an extreme example of yourself in a positive way.
Yeah.
You can say anything you need to say anywhere, anytime. Just let yourself be an extreme thespian. Be an actor. Put
Yeah.
on a persona a bit. Be dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
Sell it. If you do that, you need no crutch whatsoever. You become possessed in a positive way.
Yeah.
Let yourself be that. It's fun. It's fun. Laugh at your as much as you can. Laugh at your situation. Laugh at the world as much as you can. You can't change the world.
Yeah.
You may be able to improve some things. I hope so, but you can't change this basic world. So
Yeah.
you got to deal with it. You got to laugh with it and let a lot of the water go roll off your back.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else you want to talk about?
Hmm. Not sure, honestly.
Well, how can you, what system can you use to practice your game plan here? What are you going to do to get this down? Passion, link, stop, smile. What are you going to do?
I think just drill it into my mind that that's what I have to do whenever I'm speaking, no matter to who it is.
So you put it on the back of your phone,
Yeah.
you have it on your pocket or something, you have it on your pad in class.
Hmm.
Uh, right before you go up to a group, you're thinking, I love to talk to groups, and you're looking at your words.
Hmm.
But you need to practice each one of these individually. Like go up to one group and practice passion, go up to another one and practice link, to another one and
Yeah.
work on stops, then work on smiling, and then work on passion and linking, and then linking and stopping and
Okay.
smiling, and then passion linking and stopping, and then linking, stopping, and smiling, and then passion linking, stopping, and smiling.
Yeah.
Just keep working on it. You got to
Hmm.
make it your own. I can't do it. You got to do it. You're creating new habits.
Yeah.
You got to shove this garbage man behind you out.
Hmm.
Well, look, I don't have anything else to say to you. It's
Okay.
your bat and ball,
Yeah.
and we're up to date. I think it's good. I continue to congratulate your progress,
Thank you.
and I continue to want more.
Yeah.
You sound better than you ever have to me.
Yeah.
So you're doing great, but you're not there. Okay. so so I'll see you next week then.
Actually, sorry. So next week I have exams coming up, so I have like a review session then.
Hold on. Let me pull this up. Okay. Um, it's just as well because I have someone else
Okay.
at that. I have a 12-year-old kid from Macedonia.
Okay.
then, but I have you booked, generally speaking, there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have to be very careful what I do with Outlook, or next thing I know, I'm messed everything up. I need to keep her. Okay, so I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yes.
But now you got to be a speech cop extraordinaire, right? You
Yeah.
got your hat on, you got
Hmm.
your two guns on your hips, with six crutches in each gun. You got your
Yeah.
speech plan, and you're firing.
Mm.
This guy shows up, you're going to fill him full of lead, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You're looking good, you're sounding good. Keep
Thank you.
going, mate. Keep going.
All right. I will.
I'll see
Thank
you
you
in
so
two
much.
weeks.
All right. I'll see you in
My
two
pleasure.
weeks.